Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to DCC Today. Up at Deer Park with all the spring flowers in bloom, and that is such a beautiful area up there. So Rosalie, thank you so much for sending that picture in. Announcements: Sunday morning, we'll be back with the book of James, continuing our series, Faith Has Feet. And then coming up in just a couple weeks is our summer celebration, August 30th. We've been talking about this. We're going to keep talking about it. I hope you're making plans to join us. The service is going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning at the Cole Farm, and that's on West Squim Bay Road. And I'd encourage you to make plans to come early. Plan to show up at 9:30 simply because it is a drive-in service and we have to get everybody parked. And it'll just save a lot of confusion and disruption if folks can show up early and get parked. The registration form is available online now. We would like everyone to register. You only need one registration per car. It's not per person. But if you could do that, that would really help us a lot in planning for how we're going to park cars. We want to be sure cars are parked as best we can in a way that everybody can see what's going on. So that's coming up. Lots of great stuff planned. The music we're planning, we've got some special people we're going to be recognizing. The Walk of Remembrance, we'll be sending a list out soon of the people that we want to honor, those who have passed over the last few months, that families have not really had a chance to grieve or to even receive condolences from people. And so we're going to have a place set up where you could bring a card and leave that for those family members, give them your greeting. So that'll be a special part after the service. And we're going to do communion together. And I brought one of these little communion cups just to show it to you. I think these are the cutest little things. And this little cup has both the juice in it, and sealed on top is a wafer. Now, true confessions, I have tried these wafers, and these are not tasty. They are edible, they're fine, but, and I believe they are gluten-free, for those of you that's a concern. They're not really delicious bread. I guess no surprise, right? It's packaged in a cup. But so if you want to bring your own bread, that's just fine. But we will have these available the day of. They're very sterile, and we'll be passing these out to everyone. And we're going to have communion together as part of that service. So make your plans now. Be there at the Cole Farm by 9:30 Sunday morning, August 30th, and we're going to have a great time together. Also on Monday, Burnett and Marie were on, did an interview with Jennifer talking about registration, ladies, for the Fall Women's Bible Study. And if you go to the website now, there is a banner up there that you can click on so that you can get registered for that and get your book ordered. So if you haven't done it yet, by all means go click on the banner and get signed up for the Fall Women's Study. Well, how about a devotional thought? This comes from Psalm 73, verse 26. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Have you ever been through one of those experiences where you just physically had come to the end of your rope, or emotionally there was nothing more to give? I've had a couple of those experiences in my life, and they are difficult. You're not sure how you're going to go on. And David reflects on a time like that in his life. And he says, you know, I can reach a point. I have reached points where my flesh, my body, my heart, my emotions, I'm spent. There's nothing left. But then David recognizes that there is more going on than just him. Because he has put his faith in God, he says, God is the strength of my heart. He is my portion forever. God can carry us when we have nothing more left to carry ourselves. And David finds great hope in that it's not all up to him. It's not all about how much strength he has or how much endurance he has. God is with him. And God, who never fails, is his strength and his portion. So if you're in one of those places right now and you just think, I can't keep going, I would invite you to talk to your Heavenly Father about it today. He knows, and just invite Him to give you the strength you need for today. Don't worry about tomorrow or next week. Just ask Him for the strength that you need for today, and let Him be your portion. Well, it is Friday. We are still going through the story of Sergeant Bob Bourquin, United States Marine Corps, and his World War II experience, both in the battle for Wake Island and then as a prisoner of war. And so let's go and hear our next segment of that story.
The release from prison was a marvelous time. I remember it just like it was yesterday. We were in a prison camp. I was in Hakodate Branch 3 on the island of Hokkaido in northern Japan, the northernmost island of the island string. And we started to go to work that morning, and they brought us back in the camp and said, "Yasame, no work today, rest." And we noticed a lot of the Japanese guards were wiping tears out of their eyes. And they just looked awful. And so we knew something big was happening. And there was a guard that I knew that worked in the galley. Habisha was his first name. I said, "Habisha, what's happening?" And he said, "Hiroshima, Ichitsukogi, Ichi boom, Hiroshima Shimba." And I said, "You're crazy. One airplane and one bomb." He was telling me about the atomic bomb. And he says, "Ichi boom, Hiroshima." And he wiped tears out of his eye. Well, so then we had no idea what an atomic bomb was. And then later in the day, this huge flight of B-29s flew over us. And we thought, good Lord, they're going to bomb our camp. Which they did in some cases in Japan. And the bomb bay doors opened, and these leaflets fell. And they were written in 3 different languages. And in English it said, "The Japanese government has surrendered." Then it explained to us to stay in our camps, and that food and medicine and clothing and all would be dropped to us later. And later in the day, Navy planes came over. And they started dropping these big 50-gallon drums of food and bales of clothing and medicine stuff. And one of the drums came down. We had an area marked off, but they were missing. Some of the parachutes didn't open. And one parachute didn't open, and this huge drum came down, hit the ground, and split open. And it was full of gallon cans of peaches. And one of them hit a Wake Island sergeant who had gone through all that prison life, hit him in the back of the head and killed him. And we had Korean slave workers in another camp right by us. And 2 of the Korean workers were killed, and 1 dropped into our power supply. So it was really a hectic time. We got all this clothing and medicines and food, and of course, being so hungry, we immediately started eating American food. And we all got sick. Couldn't take it. Too sweet, too salty, couldn't stand it. So our cooks had to take our American rations that we got from the Navy and incorporate them with our rice and our soup that we were used to. The first thing I did after I had enough to eat was to get clean. It was almost impossible to keep clean. So I had clean underwear. I hadn't had any underwear for 3 years, or socks. I took my brand new socks and underwear and uniform, and I went over to the Japanese officers' bathhouse. They had all gone. They took off. And I soaked up, got in the big tub and laid there and soaked and shaved. I hadn't shaved for ages. Got myself all back in shape again. Shaved and good clean clothes. And then I had this intense desire to get out of the camp. So there were no guards on the gate. So I gathered up a pair of shoes that were too small for me, brand new shoes, and some candy. And I threw them in a bag, and a buddy and I decided we're going to go out and visit the villagers. I just wanted contact with other people. And immediately, a bunch of the kids of the village started following us, so we gave them candy. And we're having a ball. And the civilians are treating us like we were just part of their group, you know.
Well, I really hope you're enjoying these segments with Bob. We are getting close to the end of this series, but I've heard a number of you just say how much you've gotten out of this, and so I hope you've enjoyed today's segment. We'll be back here Monday morning with DCC Today, and of course Sunday morning we'll be back here with our Sunday worship service, so we hope to see you then. God bless.